Transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and you deserve to know the one big trauma hypnosis trick for 2022. Because people have had enough of being a hero and feeling like a sissy at the same time. And I'm not a therapist or psychotherapist, but this is my 9th year as a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. And you deserve to know the truth about what can be achieved with trauma using hypnosis without the BS. And as you know, there are the massive T's of trauma that no human being should experience. And then there are the large T's of trauma, like being separated from loved ones or severe financial crisis or career crisis. And then there are the small T's of trauma that can haunt people for years, like that time in school that someone said something nasty. And trauma can feel unfair, unjust, disturb your sleep, interrupt your sensory responses, increase the feelings of stress or anxiety, increase physical reactivity. And someone wise once said, life is sometimes like a roll of toilet paper. It feels like you're either on a roll or taking a crap from someone else. And it reminds me in 1996 across the United States, there were 34 suspicious fires where churches were being set on fire. And the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton, created the National Church Arson Task Force, which demonstrated leadership, taking action. In fact, Bill Clinton recalled as a small child, he remembered church fires near where he was living, but the truth is there were no church fires near Bill Clinton as a child. And I don't know if that was believed in imagination or it was a malign force or malign visions. But the good news is, isn't it wonderful? You can hallucinate and still become the President of the United States. And what clients love about hypnosis is they become motivated to explore their own potential. The fact is, you and I both know no two human beings have exactly the same experiences. It's like we live in the same world, but we share a different reality. And a number of people throughout history of civilization have made this same point. We operate upon the world through our representations of it. And the reason why hypnosis is successful is it uses a combination of disassociation and relaxation techniques. And the best bit is clients return back to the world with a different perspective. And someone wise once said, change your view, change your life. And one of Erickson's techniques was to utilize the conscious and unconscious, or refer to the dominant and non-dominant hemispheres of the human brain. Maybe what you don't know is when a deep trance state has been achieved by the client, both hemispheres of the brain are utilized. And you might be thinking, why is one side more important than the other? Or how does this benefit trauma or something else? But the fact is, research on the neurological organization of human beings has revealed some differences between the behavior of the cerebral hemisphere. For example, if you balance a ball in one hand, it's enhanced if you're speaking at the same time. This is only true if the ball is in your left hand. Your performance is impaired if it's in your right hand. Speaking and balancing compete with the same part of the brain, so the brain creates a spillover effect, and both sides of the hemisphere cooperate. This is the same as speaking improves your ability to recognize elements in your right visual field. But if you sing melodies, which is a right hemisphere function, your left visual field has an advantage. By recognizing these asymmetries, a hypnotist who's working to assist the client in achieving trance becomes systematic in their choices about how to communicate with the unconscious mind of the client. Children who are fully fluent in a language and suffer a brain trauma in the language hemisphere typically become mute. They then go through the standard stages for the acquisition of language again and become fully fluent speakers because the non-dominant hemisphere took over that function. And a qualified hypnotist can assist the transfer of control from the dominant hemisphere to the non-dominant hemisphere. For example, there was one of Milton Erickson's clients who was experiencing visualizations, and the patient was very confused about their personal identity. The patient was asked to visualize a number of crystal balls in which she could hallucinate a whole series of significant life experiences, make objective and subjective comparisons, and thus establish the continuity of her life from one hallucinated experience to the next. And Dr. Joe Dispenza explains the first memories of trauma are first stored in the hippocampus. The chemicals manufactured by the hypothalamus and the amygdala activate the hippocampus and turn on different synapses to store the memory. And as you probably know, this chemical reaction then encodes the memories into a distribution of neural networks in the cerebral cortex, cementing long-term memory storage as a particular level of mind. And the recall of the ordeal then produces the same blend of signals, causing the body to re-experience the past event as if it was happening in the present moment. And it reminds me of Richard Bandler, who had a client that didn't want to be an android, and he was taught the trauma disassociation technique. But because this guy didn't want to be an android, he would use the technique creatively and make his clients relive the trauma and then disassociate them. And that's a lot of pain and suffering for his client. But as Richard Bandler once said, if you do the disassociation first, then go through the experience, your clients don't have to go through the discomfort. That makes it much easier and more elegant. The thing that makes NLP work go so quickly is we make very practical decisions about what order we do things in, rather than saying, oh, I could do X and then rushing it and doing that. So here is the one big trauma hypnosis trick for 2022. The double disassociation technique by John Grinder. Imagine you're watching TV, really spread out on the couch, get really comfortable. Now float out of your body and sit behind you watching TV. And you can see you're so comfortable. You almost look like a proper couch potato. In fact, you look perfectly relaxed. Just what you need right now. And congratulations, you've just completed one disassociation. There's the real you watching TV on the couch, and you are the ghost you watching the back of your head. And now float out of the ghost you sideways to the side and look at the ghost who's watching the back of your head, the real you. In fact, the ghost you is so absorbed in watching the real you can't take your eyes off the ghost you. And congratulations, you've just completed a second disassociation. You have now double disassociated yourself. You're a DD pro. And on the TV screen, which you can't see because you're fixated on the ghost you, who's admiring the couch potato qualities of the real you, that on that TV screen in black and white, you can't see it, is your trauma. And it's weird because you can't believe how impressed the ghost you is, of what a great couch potato you are. You can see the ghost you side on, impressed. You can almost sense the couch potato is just flicking through the TV channels, able to change the brightness, background music, fast forward, rewind. But what's most fascinating about the ghost you is it's still so impressed by your dedication to be 100% couch potato. In fact, you have just completed the double disassociation technique. But the truth is, that might have been the first time you've just created enough distance to see your trauma from a different perspective. And that's enough for today. And I can only imagine someone like you who's capable of going all in on 100% couch potato with your high standards of attention to detail. You deserve to live your best life, and you can, because today you just took the first step into setting yourself up for success. So what if you chose to think about trauma hypnosis differently? But what if you didn't? The choice is yours.